So you dream about winning the Stanley Cup. If I were to tell you you're 2 wins away from it, how does that affect your dream?
I'd take it a second. I mean, I think when you're growing up, the Stanley Cup seems so far away. The NHL seems so far away. And, thinking you have the opportunity, 2 wins away, I'd take that any day.
What's the biggest difference, your team last year to this year?
I think being in this situation, we feel a lot more confident with the way we've played throughout the series. As for Game 5, I think last year we came off an emotional game. We're probably riding a bit of a high coming to this game. This time is a bounce-back game for us. But it's 2 different scenarios, 2 different years. But I think this time, we're going to be a lot more prepared for it.
What happened in Game 5?
We had a good first period, and then they just put a string of goals together like we did the game before. I mean, that was really the difference. They got the second and the third one fairly quick, and then we took some penalties, and you can't do that against them. And I think that was, really though the 2 quick ones they got in the second, they hurt us, and we got away from our game.
Some guys on their team are saying that players from your team were wondering about their conditioning levels and their fatigue, and that they were bickering back and forth. In hindsight, do you wish some of your guys hadn't said anything in the paper?
Maybe, but you know what? It's too late to look back on things, and it's always easy to say they're the tired team when they're chasing, and you know what? We probably look like the tired team in that game. So it's easy to say that when you're looking at games and teams are behind and you're carrying the play. It doesn't matter. Really who it is. When you're chasing, it's always tiring. So I think it's fair either way to say that, depending on the game. But the fact is, it doesn't matter now. We have 2 games to win, and what was said, what's happened, it means absolutely nothing. They need 1 game to win, and we need 2. So we need to start by getting this one at home.
You're the guy. You're the leader of this team. There's nobody else. You're the guy. What did you say after Game 5?
We didn't need to say anything. I think we felt like we didn't give an effort. Everybody knew that. There was nothing that needed to be said. We'll come and practice and make sure that we get our mind in the right focus it needs to be. But absolutely nothing needed to be said. We all know what we need to do.
What did Mario Lemieux say to you?
Nothing. I mean, he knows. He realizes the stakes right now and how important it is to bounce back. And when you get to this point, there's things that need to be said along the way, and we need to learn things. But when you get to this point, it's time for the learning curve, so to speak, to stop, and it's up to everyone to bring their best. And we realize that. We've been here before, and we all know what we're capable of individually and as a team, and it's time to go out there and do it.
What have you learned from the Red Wings over 2 years of playing them in the finals?
I think consistency is a big thing, through their game, and they've provided that in both years. There hasn't been a real change in their game, and I think we've done a better job of that as well. But that's something we need to make sure we have. It's so important to have consistency, and they really don't make a lot of mistakes, but we've done a better job of forcing them to, and we need to continue to do that.
Whenever you're involved in a series, we'll use this year's playoff, it's Crosby versus Richards. It's Crosby versus Ovechkin. It's Crosby versus Stahl. And now it's Crosby versus Zetterberg. So all these matchups, how do you overcome those?
Trying to change anything. I mean, you have to look at it as a challenge and be better for it, but you don't want to change a whole lot. I mean, he's a great player, but you know what, they work together to try to stop guys, and just like other teams, it's the same thing. But when you're playing against Rafalski and Lidstrom, it's not only Zetterberg out there, so you've got to keep that in mind. And he's a dangerous guy offensively, so you have to be aware of that. But the biggest thing is not to get too caught up in the matchups. You have to make sure that you have that challenge, and that's motivation for sure. But at the same time, you've got to focus on your game.
So you're in the dressing room just before Game 6. What's going to happen?
I think we're going to be as focused as we have been all year. We've bounced back numerous times this year. We've been through a lot, and you know what? If people would have told us at the start of the year that we've got an opportunity, we've got to win 2 games to win the Stanley Cup, every guy would have taken it. And being at home for Game 6, we definitely would have taken it. So we've got an opportunity. We realize that, and the 5 games are done. There's nothing we can do about those now, but we still got an opportunity here.
Has anybody that's ever won the Stanley Cup talked to you about touching it and picking it up?
No, not really. I mean, I've seen it many times on TV, but I haven't really talked about it, no.
What do you think your moment will be like when you pick the Stanley Cup up?
I couldn't tell you, but I'd say it'd be a lot of happiness, a lot of joy, but at the same time, just a ton of satisfaction. So that's something that, I really hope happens, and, we've got 2 games to try to make it happen.